I believe marketing is probably the number one problem that most people have.
You may be losing thousands of dollars every year.
Especially in home services, if you use AI properly, it's going to expedite how fast you make money.
When a business grows, the biggest problem is making sure that.
All right, welcome back to the Action Rich Podcast. I'm sitting with my friend Federico, and he is from Avoca AI. Tell everybody, Federico, who you are and what Avoca does and how you're helping change and help contractors make more money.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So my name is Federico. I lead partnerships and a lot of the growth initiatives at Avoca. And Avoca has been on an incredible journey. The main thing Avoca does is it helps contractors automate 2 out of the 3 steps that it takes to generate revenue. You got to acquire a lead, you got to convert that lead, and then you need to fulfill the jobs. And we really help them from a consultative approach understand how they can leverage automation to convert and acquire more leads so they can just focus on the last piece.
Let's talk about that, right? So marketing is a huge piece. And I believe marketing is probably the number one problem that most people have. Would you agree to that? They can't figure it out.
Actually, I think that that's the biggest problem they think they have.
Oh, I like that.
That ends up not being the biggest problem.
What's the biggest problem they have? Operational problems?
The biggest problem is operation. It's conversion. In fact, a lot of the bigger HVAC companies that we worked with, for example, Bachmann or Chad Pierman's company, they really told us that the biggest problem that all these contractors tend to have is in the call center. And that's usually where we start. And that's because they are investing a lot of money in marketing already, and they're already generating a lot of leads. But then what happens? All the leads call at 9 a.m. and there's 20-minute hold times. Leads call after hours and they don't pick up the phone. And so all of those calls that are coming in, but you're not answering the phone, it's basically like setting money on fire. Like you're paying to get that lead to call you, and then you're not picking up the phone. And what's worse is that you're not just losing on the $100, $200 cost per lead on generating that lead, but you're also losing is the opportunity cost. That lead could be a really big job. It could be a HVAC install. And guess what? It's not just about the one job. That lead could become your customer forever. What's the LTV of your customers? Now we're talking, you're not just losing $100 because you didn't answer the call. You may be losing thousands of dollars every year. And so that's why actually when a business grows, the biggest problem is making sure that all the money you're spending to generate those leads, you're efficient and you're answering every call and you're booking the leads that come on your website and you're following up with leads that click on the Google LSA ad or Facebook or Angie's or whatever it might be.
You know, and I agree with you. A lot of people have operational problems where they spend all this money on marketing. Yes, I own a digital agency and everybody be like, the leads suck, the leads aren't good. And I'm like, well, you don't answer your phone. You don't have no one after hours. You have no one on the weekends. You got a 10-minute hold time or 3-minute hold time. Who's waiting 2 minutes to talk to you? Nobody, right? And people don't understand, I call it speed to the lead.
Of course.
Right? And can you talk about the speed to lead? Because people are like, I'm stuck at 25 million. Well, I guarantee if you just hired someone to be speed to lead or use AI speed to lead,
yep,
you wouldn't be stuck there no more. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, 100%. So usually when we, as I was saying, we were born about, the companies were about 5 years ago. About 2 years ago, we started working and we had the AI responder, right? Picking up every phone call. Then when we started working with the really big customers, with a lot of PE firms, we realized exactly what you're saying. Speed to lead is another thing that is extremely important. And so when I talk about the consultative approach, what we mean is we go in, we talk to the customer, we say, okay, what are all the leaks that your bucket has? It's the bucket is your business. And one of them is the call center, one of them is speed to lead. So we also have an AI product that can do speed to lead across all sources. So what that means is you, for example, you work with Thumbtack. Let's take that as an example. And a pro gets an inbound for a job. Now that pro or that contractor needs to be able to reach out to claim the job, to claim the availability, to book it as soon as possible. If you wait, they're going to go with somebody else. They're going to look for someone else. These are usually jobs that need attention right away. You're experiencing a pain. And so with, if you have a team of CSRs that are on top of it, that's fantastic. But if your volume ebbs and flows, then it peaks out.
All volume ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
Like that's just the reality of it. Like And most smaller companies don't have a call center in the Philippines for their after hours, wherever they may be, but all businesses ebb and flows. Like, that's just a fact.
Yeah. Both with seasonalities across months and even throughout the day. And so for that reason, if you have an AI, it can scale infinitely. If one day, for whatever reason, you were to get 1,000,000 calls at once, I wish it to everybody, the AI would support it. If you got 1,000,000 people to click on the same Facebook ad at once, the AI could follow up with all of them, trigger an automated call to every single person within 2 seconds. And so
I mean, that's fair.
that's very powerful.
All right, that's about as fast as you get right there. I guess, let's talk about this. How does your AI, because, that's a new word everyone's using, AI, AI, AI. Look around here, Pantheon, half these companies are AI now, right? Talk to us about what AI actually is and how it works and how yours is different from other companies. 'Cause I'm a fan of your company.
Hey everyone, thank you for joining us today. I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, Service Titan and Rilla, our technology of choice to helping us scale and grow our business and making sure all of our viewers have the technology to scale their business so when they want to sell it, they're able to.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, you're so right. AI is obviously on everyone's mouth, and a lot of the times when
It's not even AI half the time, it's ChatGPT. I think it's AI, but that's a whole other topic.
when I talk to people, they're like, "Oh yeah, I use ChatGPT," and like, I mean, that's great. It's a start. It's a start. Obviously, it goes deeper in ways that I even don't understand. My engineers understand, right? Like, it gets really, really technical really quick, and that's why I mean, our founders get this. The reason I joined Avoca was really for our founders. They not only do they understand the problem at its core because they each come from immigrant families who have their own small businesses and put them, people with no accent, as kids answering every single phone call. So they understood very early on the importance of answering every call. But then these two kids ended up leading the MIT AI lab. And they were like, okay, wait a second. We have similar stories and we really understand AI. And so we can do something with it. So that's how the company was even born, right? And so when you talk about what even is AI and like how is our AI different? Well, at its most basic level, AI is a tool that we think can augment humans' abilities significantly. Absolutely. Doesn't have to necessarily replace humans. In fact, we are strong believers in like a hybrid approach, which I would love to talk more about. But at a high level,
Explain the hybrid approach that you're talking about. Explain that, because I think that's important for people to understand, especially in home services. I don't believe AI is going to replace all home services the way other people do. I think 30 years from now, maybe it will, but not in the next 5, 10 years. I think right now we're in the gold rush for home services. And if you use AI properly, it's going to expedite how fast you make money. Can you talk about the hybrid you're talking about?
100%. Yeah. And you see, I agree with that take. If you look at AI, is basically just a much more efficient employee, but efficiency is not all that we care about. For instance, I come from Italy, and producing clothing in China is way more efficient, and it can be high quality, but made in Italy will never die because people still care about that quality. I was doing the same exact way. AI is much more efficient than humans, but we believe that the human touch is irreplaceable. It will never die. So what does that mean in terms of the hybrid solution? It means that even though we are an AI company, from day one, we built a human being call center. We literally have a call center of people that can jump in anytime that the call isn't going the right way or anytime that the AI is just not the right solution for this specific use case. This comes from the fact that one of our founders, he worked on developing self-driving cars technologies. And as someone who lived in San Francisco, I always saw those cars that it looks like they're driving themselves. But what you don't see is that there is a remote person with like 10 different screens that at any point can press the brake or swerve. That's called a human in the loop. And so we brought the human in the loop to the AI CSR solution, where we can transfer the call 24/7, English or Spanish at any point to one of our employees, if, for example, after hours. And those employees are not a normal call center. They get full context transfer from our AI, and then they are prompted with the answer. So if the question is like very specific, do you work in this specific zip code and like the specific job? A normal call center will have to put you on hold to go figure out the answer because they work with 200 companies. They don't know the answer on top of their head, but our AI will prompt it to them. So the experience is smooth and with no holes.
your company's growing. How many contractors do you have on your technology now?
At this point, we're approaching 600 contractors.
600 contractors. And tell me the best case outcomes that you're seeing.
To be honest, the best case outcomes are the contractors that are switching from an after-hours solution, which is what we really were born as, to a first line of defense. So one example is Call Dad. We love this guy. Shout out to Matt Pazda. They put our responder to answer every single call. So if you call them, Avoca will pick up. So imagine that somebody calls them and they start saying, hey, I was looking at the billing. The AI will say, that sounds like a billing question. Let me transfer it to the accounting department. If you didn't have this, maybe that person would have to be on hold for like 5-10 minutes just to then get transferred to the billing department. But with AI, the AI picks up instantly on the first ring, and we transfer them and we get them serviced. They are much happier. But if the person on the other end says, where I have a AC unit that's only blowing out warm air, like I need help, then the AI can get their information and book them. If they're already a customer, then because of the integration with Service Titan, they don't even need to get their information. They just confirm the information and schedule the appointment instantly.
What's the biggest obstacle someone has? Because technology is hard to bring on the companies. That's why I think most home service companies don't embrace technology. It's a struggle. Putting Service Titan on is a struggle. Putting you on is a struggle. Putting whatever technology. What do you think? It's the technology, the friction? Why doesn't every contractor use all these tools? Because the majority of them just don't use any of the tools. Do you think it's a struggle at the adaptation of technology?
Look, I will use the words of Aaron Goddick, one of our first customers, who said, AI is here to stay. It is. Whether you want it or not. Whether you want it or not, it's here to stay. So you can be one of the ones who adopts it early, and you'll be much better off when everybody's using it, or you can be one of the late ones. The ease of adopting technology is certainly a challenge, but that's why you need to do your research when you're picking vendors. Avoca we pride ourselves in providing white glove support in the sense that here's what onboarding looks like with us. Setting up a AI agent, if you know what you're doing, only takes about 1 to 2 hours. But then what takes between 2 weeks to a month usually is getting that AI agent to really represent your brand to a point where you truly feel comfortable. Getting it to answer every single call. That's a big deal.
Right.
And so we take the time to tweak it, and we can even clone a voice if that's of interest. And we really make sure that the bot, that we are handheld and that you understand the solution, what it can do, what it can't do, and that you are set up for success with your agent.
Go check out your product. Great guy. How do people get a hold of you? Federico, how do people get a hold of you?
Yeah, they can reach out in a few different ways. Obviously, you can go on our website. Our website is avoca.ai. You spell it like avocado without the dough. avoca.ai. And then the other way is, I'm always available to be reached out directly. So my email address would be Fede, Fede @avoca.ai. And if you do that, I will know that this came through Lens. And I would love that. So I'm always available for direct reach out.
Reach out to him. Check out his AI. Thank you for being here, brother. Thank you for being a Pantheon. I look forward to seeing you at the roofing conference.
Thank you.
Hey, let's get a photo of you guys before you get up, all right?